So I think one of the harder things to get people to do is to actually sort of care about their future and think about their future. I always operate under the presumption that people do care, and they're sort of pursuing and chasing, they're chasing their dreams, chasing a career. But what I've come to discover is I am pretty unusual with that, where I am thinking about that. And it's just through years of experience where I've realized that how unusual it actually is. Most people just don't care. They sort of view the world in the moment, and they don't even really think about what they're actually going to be doing in the future, how they're going to handle things, where they're going, all of those kind of things. And so you might hear about, don't pursue things for money, for example, or, look where the money is going. The problem is people don't even consider any of that kind of stuff, right? The base scenario is that people are really just not focused on where they actually want to go. They're just in the moment. They're sort of thinking about today and not thinking about tomorrow. And I think this is pretty universal. I think this is like human behavior. It's unusual to think about where you're going to go in 10 years or even where you're going to go next year. And, how I identify this is just by looking around and seeing, I think most people are fairly content in where they are. And it's an interesting sort of dilemma, because to get going, to make big changes, you actually have to invest in yourself and invest in where you're going, right? It doesn't matter the area that you're thinking about, but you're always having to invest in something to push forward. And, it's all about taking those steps forward and viewing where things are going. And so it doesn't matter the choice and what you're going to choose, right? It doesn't matter whether you're going to pick something that is, just something that you're interested in, or something that does pay money. That doesn't necessarily matter. What matters is actually getting up and get going and pursuing either one of those things. If you pursue something that's not going to pay well, or you think it's not going to pay well, but then you sort of push at it and you really pursue it, you'll find a way to make it actually pay well. If you pursue something that is, makes money and stuff, you'll find a way to make it interesting, and that you could have it like a passion, or turn it into something that you find enjoyable. But the issue is people just don't even want to start. They're just not, as I say with my kids, they're just not in it to win it. And it's just interesting to see this, where, having that gumption, that sort of pizzazz to get up and get going every day, that is hard to do. So, from my side, me thinking about where I'm going is it's not natural to me. It's sort of, I have to train myself to think like that. But in order to accomplish really big, monstrous things, you have to be doing that all the time and thinking about where you're going. So I just find I don't know how to actually teach that. I don't know how to get people interested in things, but I think that's what you have to do. And it just requires a great deal of gumption every day to get up and get going, to pursue the things that you want to pursue, and not looking back. And, the thing is no matter what you choose, people are going to criticize you, they're going to make fun of you, but you just do it anyways. But how do you teach that? I don't think you can teach it in the moment. I don't think it's something that you can learn from classes or, just going to a seminar or anything like that. I mean, that's what sort of motivational speakers are all about, right? And that you go to the motivational speaker for a weekend and then your life has changed, but that's really not what it's about. It's just constantly getting up and getting going and finding somebody around you that is like that, like building just people that are okay with just going and keeping busy and just really pursuing that. It's such a rare thing to do, and I'm not saying I do it every day, but I do it often, and I think I do it a lot more often than most people, and I think that's the challenge, right? Like, how do you get people to get going and pursue it? It's something I really struggle with, and I don't know what the right answer is, other than just repetition. Pursuing it as a parent, I see it with my kids, and you have to repeat the sort of push or the drive to keep people going, to keep them excited to pursue things. There's just you need to keep that up, and we all feel down, and we all feel like we don't want to do things, but you get up and you do it anyways, right? Like, I think that idea is important. I think there's one of the things that works for me is thinking about, like, man, I have to appreciate where I am and sort of think about where I've come from. And I think that is important. And I'm not, my parents were amazing, and I lived in, a good, family, but my family before that, my grandparents, it was a hard life. And what changed us is that my parents worked hard. And so I learned that from them. Especially, my one set of grandparents worked really hard and were always working. And I think that is something to remember, to sort of pursue, is that, you just keep going. And over the long haul, that compounds, it turns into amazing things. But I don't know how to teach that. And I don't know how to get people interested in just working, because it requires a lot of energy. And it requires a lot of gumption. But I don't know. I think you just gotta remember to get up and get going and pursue anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Just pursue it and go full force. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.